On y'all, just give me a few moments. I think there's a lot of stuff that we need to discuss, and it has a lot to do with the WWE and putting content creators on the pedestal. So this is pretty much like my response video to Art of Kicks, who is an amazing content creator, by the way. So y'all go support that brother. Almost at 1 million subs, y'all. Just want to give y'all the heads up. Mm. All right, y'all. Welcome to my channel, DHR2 Productions. This is not an episode of Let's Talk or chatting with DHR2 Productions or making a chill stream. This is pretty much my response to Art of Kicks, who just done a live stream video on do not put content creators on a pedestal. Now, there's a reason why I'm making a response video because I can pretty much relate to, his struggles when it comes to dealing with trolls and learning how to take a break and taking care of my mental health. So there's a reason why a lot of that and a lot of us content creators can relate to his issues because I've been through this 5 years ago or 6 years ago when I first got my first 100 subscribers. It was mainly to me due to, you know, it was due to me reacting to a lot of K-pop music. So that's how I got my first 100 subs. Just reacting to music in general. It pretty much got me inspired to do a rap song, but unfortunately, uh, I suck at rapping. I can admit, but yeah. But I think to me, there's a reason why a lot of us don't want to be put on a pedestal because we're all scared to be famous that fast. Because if you make one video that is trending on, on Instagram and Twitter with the hashtags, and you're gonna be the number one trending topic, you know, based on one video that you've done, that you've made, you're pretty much gonna end up being famous. Famous for that one video that you'll always be known for. And you will always be remembered by those who watched and enjoy your content throughout the years. Even if you're sometimes struggle to create better content. And I can recall it was around a time when I made one video of Tyrone Madness. Me reacted to this video of some raw coming out of the house begging for some D, like sucking his private parts and carrying on. And I did a reaction to it. I spoke my piece on it as well, just as Tyrone Madness did. And ever since then, I had trolls comment on my channel. Comment on my videos, harassing me, saying that how does my private taste? I'm like, what are you talking about? What did I ever do to you to make you troll me like this? And the more I upload videos, the more he kept on harassing me, etc. The more I got to a point where I actually wanted to quit doing YouTube at that point. I wanted to quit doing YouTube, y'all. I really did. Because of the trolling. Because I just, I had to, sit back and just focus more on my private life and my mental health. And this was back in 2017 when I was really going through stuff in my personal life. That was one of the main reasons why I took a week off of YouTube, because of this one person who kept on harassing me and carrying on. And I literally had to block him thousands of times. And so I was like, you know what? Let me just take a week off of YouTube. Take a break from YouTube for about a week. And hopefully I can come back with a fresh mind, fresh energy, and just continue to upload videos. Even if there were, they were a copyright claim. That was literally how I was at the time. So I was like, you know what? I came back with a fresh energy, a fresh set of mind, and I've been on fire ever since. So I can pretty much understand what Art of Kick is coming from. Because we've all been there and we're all struggling with this, the same thing. And it's rough. What I'm saying? There are a lot of times when most of us don't even want to be in a pedestal. I spoke about when I become famous years ago. If I were to become famous on YouTube, I would want to give back to my community, not think about myself, not let fame get to my head. Because if I do that, I'm going to feel like I'm pushing people out of my life, those who helped build me up to become a mega star on YouTube. I don't even want the fame, but if I have fame, I would still be me. I would still be myself. Because being myself is way important. It's way more important. Because if you go around being somebody else that you're not, then you're making yourself look like an idiot. If that were to happen to me, fame is a drug. Because once you're famous, you're going to get press, wanted to interview you, like they're going to want to know about your personal life. It gets scary time and time again. And you ain't gonna want to be famous anymore. Like, for real, y'all, I'm being blatantly honest here. Tell me if I'm wrong, right? If a person got famous over one video, over one trend he did on TikTok. Do you honestly think that they're going to end up being successful, happy, or end up being depressed and miserable because of the one thing they got famous for? Because let me tell you, being famous sucks. I'm not a celebrity. I'm not rich or famous. But what I am is a person who loves and enjoys doing content on YouTube. Look, I've been doing YouTube for 6 years now. And I had thoughts of quitting this platform because of the trolling. But you want to know what didn't stop me? Me. I did not like, I mean, I kind of like that. A few things bothered me, but guess what? That didn't stop me from continuing to do YouTube. What it did was, what I'm saying, what it did for me was I had to take a break. A break did so much better for me. It was pretty much like a redemption, you know. So I just want to get my thoughts in, man. And once again, shout outs to Art of Kicks. Go and subscribe to his channel. He's almost at 1 million subs. And the first time I discovered him was when he was doing, a lot of Karen videos and a lot of, what I'm saying, he brought out some good points too. He explains about the experience he dealt with the Karen before and some of the issues he's dealt with in his personal life. Not all the way personal, but certain things that he struggled with as much as I did. They're all related to one video. And you've seen me do the same thing. Me reacting to uh what's her name? And I got a yellow limit sign. You to be on some nonsense. Let me just it for a minute. I forgot what's her name, but she makes video on certain things females do wrong. And apparently to me, uh, she's a men's rights activist. So I've been reacting to her videos, and you see me do a lot of opinions on this. And the first video I've done was the boyfriend being beat up by a female. And ever since then, I've been hooked on her videos, and I've always spoke about my acknowledgement of what I felt or what I thought about the issue, what needs to be done. And the more I watch these content creators do different things, the more I get better of me creating my own unique take on it. And so far, I've been getting a lot of different response. But there's one person that comments on my videos most of the time. There's one video I've seen of, this 18-year-old doing some crazy, saying some nonsense about men. Yeah, you could tell he was definitely simping for her. So I had to block him. So I don't want him commenting on my videos anymore. So yeah, man, that's just my thoughts on Art of Kick's video. He brought out some interesting points. I respect what he does so much. Uh, and you know what? We're all here for it. All right, so let's jump on to some WWE. Now, look, I love and hate this company at the same time. What Vince McMahon is doing is so dumb. Releasing wrestlers just like that. And it's mainly due to him not working with the talents. There's a reason why the WWE sucks because of one man releasing wrestlers without any reason. But what we're about to react to, y'all, it's gonna leave your head scratching. That's literally how I feel about this company all the time. Let me share this video. Hold on, let me stop sharing for a minute. I gotta fix something. But I'm trying to fix something right quick, y'all. Let me try this again.
What is going on, guys? It is WrestleMania here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including more WWE firings. The WWE draft is going to reset the main roster. The WWE have been embarrassed, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit.
No, what they should be embarrassed is the lack of creativity and how much the product sucks even more. I mean, at least Roman Reigns is the reason why SmackDown is watchable. But Raw, y'all need to fix yourselves, Mo.
Hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Now let's the intro and get straight into our first story. Now, first story looks at WWE firing 8 wrestlers. Unfortunately,
Seriously?
terrible news to report as the WWE has gone through another round of firings. This year has already seen the roster cut down considerably smaller with the firings of talents such as Aleister Black, Buddy Murphy, and Mickie James, just to name a few. In total, over 17 wrestlers have been fired this year, but WWE aren't just finished yet. There were earlier reports coming from Sean Ross Sapp that Nick Khan is making more cuts in the company. Now PW.
Oh, Nick Khan's. And here I thought it was this McMahon, but still. Like, come on, yo.
Insider has just confirmed the firings of 6 WWE superstars, including Arya Daivari, Tony Nese, the tag team Everrise, August Gray, Tyler Breeze, and Fandango. I mean, at this rate, do you think even more cuts are gonna come? So
Look, Fandango and Tyler Breeze, they were jokes. I completely understand about the firings of these two. But the thing is, if you were to, if you were to give them a different gimmick and make them a better characters, you gotta at least spice it up a bit. What these two had back then, oh my god, it was atrocious, dreadful, and embarrassing. You know, I can only imagine if they were to go to AEW, they would have had better character developments over there. Like I'm calling it now. But the fact that you're gonna fire a lot of wrestlers for what? All you're doing is just making your company even worse.
that WWE can be even more profitable at the end of 2021? Regard these guys aren't major names, but it really sucks to be fired during a pandemic, no matter who you are. We'll wish the best for these wrestlers and hope that there aren't any more firings coming up tonight.
Oh, there will be more firings. Watch.
Next up, the WWE Draft resetting the main roster. And there are big changes coming with the upcoming WWE Draft. With the rumors of the draft taking place in late August or early September, fans are wondering if the draft will be the usual bit of
New Topo Chico Hard Seltzer.
Salud.
Legends never stop refreshing.
cosmetic changes that have little effect on the roster other than moving a few mid-card acts around. However, Andrew Zarian from the Mat Men podcast is reporting on a date for the draft, as well as that there are major moves planned for the event. Zarian tweeted, "The WWE draft is taking place on August 23rd, August 27th. I'm seeing a few reports that the WWE doesn't have set plans after the draft. I can tell you that the report isn't totally accurate. WWE has big plans for some who will be switching brands following SummerSlam.
You know, it would have been better if they had the draft, you know, when there's like a live crowd there. But knowing how bad this company has become, I don't see the point of them having a draft. Because the last draft I reacted to that we've seen in the past, no, 2 years ago I did a review of the draft. And it was one of the worst drafts I've seen. And even 2020. The 2020 draft was the worst. Like, I'm not. Oh my goodness.
With that said, I've heard their goal is to give this year's draft a bigger feel than the previous for all the reasons you imagine. You have a unique opportunity to hit the reset button on a lot of talent. Now, if you've been keeping up with our news video, you know that we reported earlier this week about the rumors of Biggie jumping from SmackDown to Raw. Now, that would be a huge move, but what other moves might the WWE make? Who would you like to see get drafted from Raw to SmackDown and vice
In all honesty, I can care less about the draft because this company sucks still.
versa? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, John Cena wants to work with The Rock again. Cena and The Rock's epic battles at WrestleMania 28 and 29 are
Why?
still remembered for being two dream matches, but with both men's Hollywood schedules keeping them busy, is there any chance of fans seeing a rubber match between the two giants of the grappling game? Well, Cena spoke with YouTube's Complex News, and then on the topic of the two squaring off in a film came up, with Cena commenting, "As somebody who enjoys entertainment, I think you're just setting that stage. I'm immediately intrigued. I feel as if that would be entertaining. There's a lot more than my opinion that's going to have to work to connect those dots, but I think it would be entertaining. So I mean, I'm in, but we'll see." Like anything involving The Rock and Cena, it's a question of scheduling. Cena said, "Nowadays, we are truly in the wonderful surge of entertainment. There's a lot of content out there. There's content consistently being made. My point is, people are busy. And you take someone like Dwayne, who is in his own universe. He's so busy, and with such quality projects, it would take a lot of the stars lining up, and it may be to the point where it's too complex. I don't know, but man, it sounds interesting." The rumors are flying right now that the WWE is trying to book Cena versus Reigns at SummerSlam, which could be a blockbuster of a match.
If that was the case, how about turning him heel? He did say that he wanted to turn heel for so long. Do it. What you scared of?
There are also the long-standing rumors of the WWE trying to book The Rock against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, something which hasn't happened, but which the WWE would bend over backwards to make happen. Next up, Becky.
And I don't want to see The Rock. You know what I'm saying? You know what? Here's the thing. I don't want to see The Rock versus Roman Reigns because it just like it's gonna look awkward. Because once The Rock beats Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, Roman Reigns is going to end up, turning back face and be worse than he was before. So no, I don't want to see it.
Becky Lynch signs a new WWE deal. Now, we're not going to waste your time with another story about Becky Lynch's never-ending imminent return, but we do have a story to share from this week's Wrestling Observer newsletter. Dave Meltzer's
You're such a good baby.
When you buy a Food Lion Feeds orange bag, we'll donate 5 meals to fill the plates of those in need.
reporting, expect a return of Becky Lynch relatively soon. She's been training at the PC and was at the Hell in a Cell show. Lynch wasn't used at WrestleMania as first talked about and teased by her because they were waiting for her to sign a new deal, which is now in effect, and because they felt it was too early to debut her before she would be back wrestling. Lynch may or may not be back soon, but it sounds that she's going to be in the WWE for a long time to come in light of a new deal. Next up, when Jeff Hardy could leave the WWE. Now, when does Jeff Hardy's WWE
You know what? Here's the thing. I haven't seen Jeff Hardy on TV in a long time. Well, I know I haven't watched, SmackDown like that, but in terms of seeing Jeff Hardy on TV, where has he been at?
contract end? Well, that's a question we brought up when we recently reported on Matt Hardy wanting to finish up his career in AEW with his brother. And Jeff signed a new deal with the WWE in September 2020, but now Fightful Select is reporting on more details about when Jeff's contract expires. Throughout the year, WWE made alterations and changes on several contracts, and Jeff Hardy's deal was either restructured, re-signed, or extended. Fightful added that Hardy's WWE deal ends at the end of 2020 or the beginning of 2023. Now, as we noted yesterday,
Dang.
there's always the possibility of the WWE cutting Hardy as it continues to trim its payroll. On a related note, Jeff Hardy will finally be using his entrance music No More Words, with the Wrestling Observer reporting fans should expect its return in mid-July. You may
Wait, are you talking about the theme song from 2008? If that's the case, I'm here for it.
recall Jeff's contract reportedly contained a provision that he could use the music once the live fans return. Next up, Shayna Baszler talks transition from a badass to comedy character. Shayna Baszler
Oh no. I like her as a heel before. Please don't ruin this character, yo.
a character undergo a surprising change in the WWE as a badass Queen of Spades who dominated and destroyed opponents in NXT is now involved in both comedic and, well, dare we say,
Wait, this is her? Oh no. WWE, what are y'all doing? What are you doing? You had a perfectly healed character and you do this.
supernatural storylines. While Baszler is still presented as someone who is not to be trifled with, there's no denying she's working in unconventional storylines, something that she recently discussed with Sports Illustrated's Justin Barrasso. It's always been a constant juggling act, and that's not just seen on Raw. It's also been the case in my time in NXT and the Indies. I come from a very old school professional wrestling tradition. Josh Barnett and Billy Robinson were my main coaches, and they're really, really old school. Baszler elaborated that while she was trained in the old school method, where she should look like she could destroy an opponent on the street, as
Hi there, welcome to Forward. Come on in. I'm Dr. Nate Favine.
well as in the ring, she's willing to
If that was the case, why couldn't they allow her to keep that persona? Her old school coaches trained her to be that way. Look, if I were to get signed with the WWE, I don't ever want to change my gimmick. I don't want to be turned into a joke so bad to the point where I want to request a release. They're famous for that. Taking good characters and you ruin them. You water them down. And that's the worst part about this company.
adapt to whatever she's called upon to do. I need to show that I can be counted on to nail whatever it is I'm being asked to do. It's easy to be a badass tyrant like I was in NXT. I can totally fit that role. After establishing myself as that, it's important to show that I can cover a wide range of what professional wrestling is today. Baszler wrestled Alexa Bliss at Hell in a Cell in an unusual match that saw Bliss using her apparent ability to mesmerize people to help win a match, the kind of match that fans probably wouldn't expect to see Baszler in. Nonetheless, she justified her appearance in the match, pointing out, "It's like music."
Isn't she like a mom or something? I remember seeing her photos on Instagram being a mom and everything. She mentioned something about having kids and all that though, but I don't know.
Some people like country, some like heavy metal. Not everything is for everyone, so I understand why some people roll their eyes when I do comedy, but I'm established as what I am. All it takes is one sentence from a promo delivered properly. I'm a legitimate badass. That's always there for me. I'm glad I can be on Raw and show a wider range. What do you guys think of Shayna Baszler's current program with Alexa Bliss? Let us know in the comments.
A drastic change is what they need. Like, get her away from Alexa Bliss. You know, just let her be a singles competitor. She was better off without her before.
Comments down below. And finally, WWE embarrassed. And it looks like one of WWE's latest hires is under fire for remarks she made during an appearance on the Asian Not Asian
Oh, you can tell she's woke based on the glasses. Yep, she woke.
podcast. As we reported earlier this week, Kenneth Mobley was recently hired and spoke on the podcast about how she knows next to nothing about wrestling. I wasn't even
If that was the case, why did you hire her then? If you don't know, listen, if you don't know nothing about wrestling, why would you hire a person that does nothing? Oh man, companies like this get on my nerves with this.
sure what the name of WWE champion Bobby Lashley is. She called him Bobby Ashley. Now Dave
Huh? Bobby Ashley? Wow, oh my God. Y'all need to stop hiring these people that know nothing about wrestling. Now I see why this company sucks so bad.
Meltzer's reporting, Mobley's comments have caused heat backstage, and that her remarks got a lot of criticism outside WWE
I
about
bet it
hiring
did.
someone as a writer who knows nothing about wrestling.
Exactly.
I mean, there is good and bad in it, but more bad. The reality is that it's people in charge who chose the directions and angles, and the writers are just there to fill in the words and for ideas. Meltzer elaborated on how the situation blew up on social media. It's turned into a fairly big thing, heavily talked about on social media, but also noted among those on the inside. Mobley was also under the gun for speaking publicly on subjects that WWE doesn't want stuff talked about. One person very close to the situation noted the negative reaction to this and said that she is not the only one in this situation, and actually this is typically of many of the writers. But where they were embarrassed by this is that by going public, it makes the WWE to the outside world look blindingly stupid. Now the podcast
Oh man. I think the creative team has gotten worse. The writing staff have gotten terrible. There's so much lack of storytelling in the WWE that just turn fans away. And they're pretty much doing a good job of turning people off. But for this individual right here that knows nothing about wrestling in general, you should have never hired her in the first place. And her comments got a whole lot of backlash backstage. And what she just said, oh my goodness.
went so badly that WWE even fired her. Now, this was confirmed by Sean Ross Sapp.
Good. About time they fired her. Why am I sounding so angry? I don't know what's wrong with me. But still, so I'm glad that they fired her. Should have never hired her in the first place.
Now, ultimately, I don't blame her. I blame the WWE for having her in that position.
Exactly.
And firing her when she tells of it just doesn't seem kind of cool. I mean, you did hire her on the knowledge that she didn't know any knowledge of WWE. But there you have it, guys. The wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below.
And what makes it so bad for me is that you still hired her in the first place. And she knows nothing about wrestling. You should have hired a wrestling expert that knows about the business in general. You could have hired that person. Would you rather hire a dummy that knows nothing about wrestling in general? I mean, good grief, WWE. Y'all took the L. Man, like I said, wrestling is just not, it's not like what it used to be. They're doing too much. Doing too much. You're hiring and you're firing wrestlers, especially, those that are talented. You couldn't even work with them. And that's why wrestling is the way it is. Lack of creativity, very boring storylines, and nothing about this makes absolutely no sense at all. So yeah, I just want to get my thoughts on it, man. So yeah, thank y'all for coming out. Pro Gamer Galaxy, what's up? I stopped watching channels like those since they spoiled some things. But well, unfortunately, they're still doing that. I don't even care about the spoilers anymore because wrestling sucks. There, I said it. Thank y'all for coming out, chilling with me as always. Instagram, Twitter, original video will be down below. If y'all excuse me, I got to get ready to do some art videos.